I put into our company breed. Bears have no bias, no religion. They're just bears. And whatever we put on them, usually clothing or even on ourselves, tells people something sometimes more about us than they need to know or what we want them to know. And I think that's really something that I've always observed. I'm going to sound like an old lady right now, but when I see how young people dress sometimes, I'm thinking, that must be the message you want to give. You wouldn't dress that way. You have a choice. You can dress more covered up, or I don't mean that you have to wear, a sleeping bag, around your body. But, how do you want to project yourself? I'm really big about personal branding and what we want. And I think women are more sensitive to this than other people are, because we know that we can use our bodies and we can use our the way we look if we want to turn a subject around. And we shouldn't do that. I'm not saying you shouldn't use all your skills to get the sale, so to speak. You're out there trying to sell a product to somebody, you want them to buy it. But I really think that we could do it differently. And you can be a lot of things through how you project yourself and how you want people to say, just try it. I mean, I've tried this before. I've done it. It's an amazing thing. I've put together a resume in my own company. That resume was the exact same resume. Harvard, all these things. And the name was Leonard or Linda. Everything else was the same. The address, I mailed them on 2 separate days, a day apart. So when they got them at the company, they would see them generally the same, but maybe not put 2 and 2 together. Linda never got the call, but Leonard did. I put names on like Lakeisha and Deanje and mixed those up too. And the person that got the call was Leonard. Even though nobody saw the person, they didn't know that the person was black or white or female or male except from their name. The resume was exactly the same. So, think about that. And that's just human. Nobody was trying, they weren't even consciously trying to discriminate. So I think we have a chance in our lifetime to really project the kind of image we want and to make sure that we're true to who we are, but also to what it is we want in life. And that's a personal branding story. We all hear the stories about Facebook and Twitter. I'd say you should pay attention to that. I wouldn't put anything on there. It's not that you don't want your parents to see. That's one thing. That's up to you. Your future employer, to see. Someday down the road, when you're looking for a job, they're going to look at it. And if you're a woman, probably more so than a man, they're going to say, oh, is it just a guy? He's a teenage guy. He just went through a bad period. But a girl, they're going to think about it differently. They just will. And we have to change that by our actions and our opportunities. And I was listening to something on the news the other night. It makes me crazy. But as long as we know it, how do we change it? It's not just go out and wear we're scientists in a lab and wear the sexiest outfit we can and, all kinds of things that would take people's eye off of our brain and put that on our body. It's to be true to who we are, no matter what it is. And I think that is understanding your environment and how you're going to project yourself as well. I know that sounds a little old-fashioned, but I think it's an issue. Another question? Yes.
Hi, so my name is Megan Conrad. I'm a junior. And I was wondering, would you advise waiting as you did? That way we build connections and we build up a capital before starting a business?
Not necessarily. I think it has to be right for you. It's when you have the idea and when you have, I think having experience is really important. So if you want to open a restaurant or, go and work in a restaurant and learn as much about it as you can. I believe in experience. I had tremendous experience. But I felt like an entrepreneur in the company that I worked for. I had a big budget, and Payless was a $2.5 billion company with 4,500 stores around the world. It was big enough. It wasn't about big. It really is something that has to be in your heart. So I needed the experience. I would never have been ready at 20. And mostly we weren't talking about entrepreneurship then. Now, I didn't know how to spell the word. We hardly ever talked about it. Now it's talked about little kids are entrepreneurs, and so it's a big word, so now it's something else out there to aspire to. But if it feels right, you've got an idea, and you've put a business plan behind it. And I say the business plan is really important because it's the first person you have to convince is yourself. And because if you're not willing to do this and put your time and money, and you're not going to be able to convince other people to put their time and money into it. So the first thing to convince, and again, I think there's different mindsets. There's a book called Mindset by Carol Dweck.